The end of Salt Bae. So I know y'all remember that little time period where Salt Bae was just finessing seasonings and all type of steaks and meats all in bitches' mouths. I hope you are not one of the young men that allowed this man to drizzle steak and sausage and dangle it above your girl. Nah, bro. Nah, that was a crazy time. That was a crazy time. But apparently this is the end of Salt Bae. Video brought to you by Jamar. We're gonna go ahead and get into this video. Make sure you like, subscribe. We are almost at 500 subs, man. Check out them shorts. I've been on the YouTube shorts dropping them, so that's another element to the channel. We're gonna go ahead and get into the video.
Over the years online, there have been thousands of memes that have come and gone, and while some remain timeless relics in internet history, others do not pass the test of time and kind of fade.
Is that Elon hitting the gas?
Relics in internet history,
or is that a cigar? Is that him hitting the za? Nah, he definitely off that za.
Test of time and kind of fade out to never really be used again. Yes, the lifespan of a meme can be days, months, years, or even decades. But even more interesting to me, though, is when someone becomes a full-blown living meme.
My name is András Arato, but people might know me as Hide the Pain Harold.
Or
Hide the Pain Herald? Huh?
András Arato, but people might know me as Hide the Pain Harold.
Oh, so this nigga was a meme?
Or at least creates a career off of going viral. You have people who have become full-blown comedians with strong fan bases off of one video. Of course, you have your Hawk Tuas and the Catch Me Outside girl.
I don't know why they made that Hawk Tua bitch famous, bro. I don't know. That shit wasn't even that sexy to me. I don't understand. I don't know why they made her famous neither. Y'all done got her millions. Y'all done gave this lady... Well, first of all, y'all sick-ass grown men waiting until she turned 18. But she done hit OnlyFans and got the bag. Got the bag using our hard-earned money. Not our. Because I ain't... You know what I'm saying? But as a people, us as a whole, we didn't pay for her to get a nose job. She didn't got... Like, bro, this is insane. We make the wrong people famous. I swear we do.
The world. But one of the more annoying people to go viral off of their meme was this guy Salt Bae back in 2017, who started popping off after he went viral for his methods of salting a steak.
That steak do look good as hell. See, no. I'm not... What? Gang. What does that even do? Why do you have to do that? Nigga, you getting it on your elbows and shit. You ain't even... You missing the steak, gang. It was all on the nigga wrist and shit. Nah, bruh.
This was something that the dumbest person you know found absolutely hilarious. You know, a real genius like me could not understand the appeal of his little party trick, but I digress. You know, I guess I just don't want the salt bouncing off that dirty-ass elbow before it touches my food.
Do you see what I'm saying? I don't want your goddamn elbow flakes in my... Like, come on. That's... He just finessed the world with that shit.
Can you take a picture and video for me?
But man, that steak do look good. Steak, brisket, whatever it is.
I cut. Very nice. And then I put the salt, you know, with the sun, you know, like a rain, like a snow.
Now, either way, this meme took the world by...
What the f... See... Wait, is this Saturday Night Live or is this the actual...
storm with SNL skits? You had people
doing
celebrations of touchdowns with this. You had others dressing up as this guy for Halloween.
Okay. That is insane dick suck if you're doing this. That is insane dick suck.
Celebrations of touchdowns with this. You had others dressing...
I mean, y'all look like the nigga, which is kind of sad.
For Halloween, cosplaying as the Salt Bae.
In Turkey, this is how you pour your salt on.
But how does the food taste, though? But he could be putting too much salt on that shit. Have you tasted it? What if it's under seasoned? Why you gotta put salt after it's already cooked? You ain't seasoned it before?
We have a man who became a billionaire from salt.
Yes.
From salt.
Yes.
You can all put salt on. He did it the best. Bam.
And soon after all this commotion...
Look at this! Look at this shit! Bro. And he's looking at it bounce off his fucking arms, bro. I'm finna get angry.
And Salt Bae would capitalize
I'm finna
on
get angry,
this
bruh.
and continue going viral by putting his meat into his customers' mouths all across the country.
Steve! 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 Wow.
He needs some milk.
Oh my God. You're one of them. Wow. At this moment, I knew he was gonna eat it. I knew he was. Oh my God.
You know, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this all has the same energy as the guys who be going
What
to town.
the fuck? Yeah. Bruh. I'm trying my hardest not to just flip all my shit over. Cause what are y'all doing, bruh? Look at this. Bro, this is how you representing our people, gang? Look at them. Wow.
Hibachi. Yes, chef, shoot it in my mouth, please. Like, what the
Wow.
fuck are you doing, son? To me, this shit
Insane
is
work.
Diddy coded all day.
Diddy? Is that actually... Diddy gang? Salt Bae was putting meat in Diddy mouth? Tragic.
In fact, in doing research for this video, I found various instances of him hanging out with Diddy, getting shoutouts from him.
Oh, no.
Daddy, I'm here with my brother Salt Bae. He's sprinkling us with that flavor. Man, the man has finesse, style.
Oh, no. You know, none of Diddy's favorites is free, Salt
And
Bae.
he's a genius at what he does. He's a one-of-one. Yes. Congratulations to my brother Salt Bae.
Thank you so much, Hearts. Yeah. We know what he was doing. Yeah.
My brother Salt Bae.
And he was apparently even in one of his commercials.
Blue Dot is about love,
This is...
celebration.
Wow.
I mean, don't tell me that these guys didn't hit at least one steak with that baby oil salts combo. And this guy would get real disrespectful with this shit.
Is that
It's not
Lotto?
like a fun little trick where your dog catches food in their mouth. Hell no, he was putting his meat in various women's mouths in a very sexual manner, all while their husband was picking up the tab. I even found this video where the guy made it very clear that shit
Yeah,
was
I
not
saw that
going to
video.
happen.
Nah, we
He would
ain't
not be
doing
going
that.
down like Adam 22.
Went to Salt Bae's restaurant, and my fiancé was not going to
No,
let
sir.
that man feed me.
Yeah. You put that shit on the plate, buddy. It looked delicious, though. But don't put that shit in my... And it's gonna be a problem if she gets to looking up, bracing herself to... Like, bitch, you was gonna allow him to do that? The fuck?
Now, regardless of how I feel,
Nah.
the Salt Bae is apparently a very successful person who comes from extremely humble beginnings. His father was a mine worker and he grew up in this 2-bedroom home with no electricity or running
Just imagine. This little nigga right here will sprinkle salt better than anybody on the planet. How fucking sad.
water. Dropping out of school at 13, he became an apprentice to a butcher and the rest is really history. Opening
Right.
numerous steakhouses since 2010, of course going viral, and amassing a very large personal fortune in the tens of millions of dollars. At his restaurant,
I'ma
people
stop
were
pausing, my
regularly
fault, y'all.
paying thousands of dollars for these golden steaks. And if that shit does not scream, I love social media validation, and it controls my mind, I don't know what does.
I've heard that 24K edible gold, that shit ain't even good.
But it's crazy when you think
Tastes like
somebody
metal.
has spent 615,000 dirhams on food at your restaurant. How does it make you feel?
Very happy.
Why is it so
I bet.
expensive?
We are not expensive. This is, perception, not reality.
What?
In general, I feel like these trendy spots that people like to go, I always leave wondering why the fuck I just spent $200 to $300 on a very
Insane.
mid dinner. It's like when I went to Hell's Kitchen, the risotto was cold. I was looking around like, where the fuck is Gordon Ramsay when I need him? Well, at least I can get a shirt that tells me to piss off after he runs my pockets with a $30 beer. Either way, a couple of years back, I talked about how Salt Bae is always clout.
Gang, you are gay. This shit is gay. Like, no, bruh.
Since he got his first taste of fame. And he actually caught a lot of flack for this at the World Cup back in 2022.
Fuck, man.
Well, you think if he plays in MLS for the next 3 years, there's a World Cup in the States. Right there. They come ask.
Damn, he's not trying to let him go.
Meta, how can I get my 2-year-old eat his breakfast?
Why he was holding on to that nigga like that? He said, oh, where you going, young blood? Hold on now. He said, you ain't finna ego me on this goddamn television network.
Result of dedication.
And with Messi being one of the most famous people on the planet, it obviously got a lot of attention when he was ignoring Salt Bae. Because basically he took the biggest moment in these guys' lives and tried to make it about himself.
That's probably where it all
and
started to fall apart,
were
nigga.
just downright ridiculous.
What the fuck?
Also keep in mind, with him being from Turkey, he really had no connection to Argentina who won that year. And weeks before this all went down, he was sucking off Ronaldo on Instagram, and then he was out here on the pitch begging Messi for a picture. But the guy was simply clout chasing and everyone knew it, and this motherfucker really thought that he was part of the team.
Why did you go onto the World Cup pitch after the final, touch the World Cup, and kiss the World Cup? What were you thinking?
He on his ass.
I love Argentina. I love football. And this is the accident. My mistake. Before I don't know the rules. Now I know the rules.
Of course.
What? What did he just say?
After the clips went viral, this got him banned from several future events, and I feel like he kind of stuck a fork in the whole Salt Bae
I don't think he should have got banned for that.
Thought. Now,
but
before we get into the current day demise of Salt Bae,
I don't think he should have got banned for that.
Purchasing those overpriced steaks, I want to tell you guys about a great purchase you can make with the sponsor of today's video.
Get your money, Jamari. Get your money. Get your money.
Check out the link.
2025.
2025, you know, I think our best year.
So that was a fucking lie.
Now, the last 2.5 years, Salt Bae has been trying to keep his relevance hanging on by a thread. The guy has to have spent a fortune purchasing the most fake followers I've ever seen. Like, yes, he was viral, but I do not really see a world where he could amass
52.8 million. That can't be real.
Million followers. He's also still been trying to show up to events, including a Champions League after party, where he was promptly removed because, honestly, who gives a damn about the Salt Bae? They knew he was just there to chase clout.
Tough. Tough. Damn, Unk getting active.
This was the first time he had gone viral since the World Cup incident, and obviously after that one was so publicly an issue, people really don't seem to want this guy around. It just feels like one of those things where he thinks he's much more important than he truly is to other people. He did try to save face in this situation, acting like he just so happened to be waiting around near this entrance to this high-profile party, claiming that there were thousands of other people who wanted to see him and not these other celebrities, and that he was really just there to sign autographs and take pictures with his apparent fans. Even going as far as to claim that this clip of him and his friends clearly being denied access to this party was apparently created by AI. I mean, talk about an absolutely pathetic excuse. Like, yes, AI has gotten a little bit more realistic in recent times, but this shit was obviously 100% real. Like, is that gonna be the new excuse people use when bad shit
AI
comes
wasn't
out
even
about
a thing
them?
back then,
Is that
gang.
like the new version of, oh, I got hacked?
You love this. That's why you make videos all the time now?
I'm
now very important. Everybody waiting.
Now, beyond people being tired of his 8-year-old shtick, the man's business has also taken a turn for the worst. For instance, at one time his London steakhouse was doing well over $13 million in revenue per year, but that number has now slowed to just $2.2 million. This is a loss of revenue by over 80% in just 3 years, and that number has been steadily declining by almost 50% year over year.
Shit, nigga, inflation getting high. Shit, I'm not spending as much money on that food I was before. Hell nah. Man, these ass is pissing me. Shit, bruh. My fault, y'all.
Which is typically a clear indication that a business is dying rapidly. Now, whether this was a side effect of a bad global economy, or his flame is just finally burning out, we do not really know, but it's likely a combination of several things. Most likely the fact that people finally realized that it's fucking stupid to spend $1,500 on a steak wrapped in sheets of gold that costs nothing. Like, even the experience itself with this little man feeding his meat into your mouth was always dumb. Still, Salt Bae has been trying to save face by changing the pricing on his menu and apparently dedicating himself to making his business go green. But this has all obviously not been working, with some former staff members even alleging that this guy was stealing their tips to try and help save his bottom line. He also had other allegations of various discrimination, and it was also rumored that even when he was doing well, making all this money off his overpriced steaks, he was still paying highly skilled staff only a little bit more than minimum wage. And now it has actually been announced that Salt Bae would be closing down several of his restaurants, including the location in Los Angeles as well as Las Vegas. And this adds to a longer list of failed ventures from Dallas to a New York City burger joints, as well as a restaurant in Boston that have all closed this last year.
You opened here in New York. Why was this the next city that you wanted to open in?
New York is center of the world. If you success in New York, all over the world, success.
To me, this is a clear indication that his brand is pretty much dead, and no matter how hard he tries to revive it and make it look like it's all good, that is simply not the reality. I mean, it's truly amazing to me how someone who starts out so humble can turn into such a clout chaser. And you would think that coming from nothing, he would provide more for his staff and not be allegedly stealing these tips. But honestly, this guy seems like a pretty self-involved jerk to me, and someone who is definitely not worthy of online fame. But y'all let me know what you guys think about this Salt Bae update down below.
Hey man, I will say that's crazy. I haven't been seeing nothing about Salt Bae, so I'm assuming bro just completely fell off. $1,500 for a steak is insane. Putting your meat in somebody's wife's mouth is insane. Y'all should have shut this nigga down years ago, immediately. Matter of fact, but man, I hope Salt Bae can find a way to humble itself and, you know, get itself back out there. But hey, I'll see y'all in the next video. We out.